Mellow bass screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rock!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready for another amazing show as we head to Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, here this evening for the Metalheads Truck Series as drivers getting ready to rumble here this evening for the Big Reds Customs Diecast 150 here this evening. What's going to be another absolutely amazing show, another absolutely amazing race here this evening. This is going to be a ton of fun, another absolutely banger of a show here. All these drivers going to put on another absolutely insane series for us, man. This is going to be a lot of fun as these drivers get ready to duke it out. They get ready to go to battle here tonight, as this is our second playoff race of the season. So our second playoff race is now upon us, and this is a bit of a wild card one. Bristol can either go by really quick. We can see the laps get clicked off in a quick hurry and not really see a whole lot of incidences. We've seen them go clean and green. We've seen really good clean racing here at Bristol before, but at the same point in time, being a short track, being tight quarters, they are inches apart off of each other. All it takes is one wrong move, putting yourself into the wrong position, and all of a sudden you can end up into a fence or into a wall or into just being in the wrong direction, pointing the wrong way, and all of a sudden you got the rest of the field coming right at you. Can tear up your equipment in a quick hurry. So you got to be very cautious about where you're rolling out there on the racetrack, not wanting to make any mistakes, not wanting to run into issues as we get ready to run. We get ready to go to battle here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor quickly. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the stream for us right now before we get into the action. Hit the thumbs up button on the broadcast. Make sure you guys hit that gosh heck and subscribe button as well. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Become part of the ever-growing series here, and jump into the comment section. Let us know who you're cheering for. We see Kevin Winker over there on the Facebook chat. He says, Bristol, baby. We know K-Dub. He's going to be, if he's in attendance, K-Dub's going to be playing some strategy calls here. He's going to be looking to try to work his way into victory lane some way or another, as we know that 42 ride going to be fast and furious here this evening as we get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble. Here today, it is the 97, that Ghost Energy QH Designs ride of Colton Hardy. Hardy will start in that pole position. To his outside in the 133, and this is a beautiful Scott Bloomquist-inspired paint scheme here on this 133. 133 ride, it is Ashley Ellison Jr. starting in second. Starting in the third spot in the Razor, number 5 ride, that is the Sonographics Designs machine of Matt Hayden. To his outside will be the 6, the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 ride is Rusty Modesty, starting there in 4th. Starting in the 5th position in the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC, number 15, that is Michael Madden. To his outside in the Winning Bid Diecast and Card Breaks, number 92 ride, it's Clinton Woodby, starting there in 6th. Starting in 7th, it's another Sparkle and Shine Anything EC ride, it's Daniel Dow. There in 7th, to his outside in the Sherwin-Williams number 3 machine, that is Keith Prince. Starting in position number 9 in the Napa Auto Parts, and number 27, that is Nick Gardner. Starting there in that 9th position, to his outside will be the Muleburger Custom Homes number 51 of Joshua Moore. Starting in position number 11 in the 01, that is another beautiful looking ride here, the Extreme Ride. That is the 01 of Rooster Rodden. To his outside, that is the Boston Web Marketing number 7 of Brett Summers. Starting in position number 13 in the number 46, that is Skylar Berry there in that Ghost Energy number 46 ride. Catania in the Majulse Speed Shop number 318, starting there in 14th. Then we see Paul Ferdinandi, Joe Bennett, Nate Cogdell back there in that 00 ride. Jesse Calloway, Caleb Kleiner there in 19th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Michael Newman, and Kevin Winker, K-Dub bringing up the rear of the field here this evening as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from Bristol, baby. It's Bristol, the last great Coliseum here with the Metalheads Truck Series for the Big Red Customs Diecast 150. Is Ashley Ellison Jr. going to take the early race lead? Will lead lap number 1 here from the outside of the front row. And it looks like that 133 hooked up here this evening as the Majulse Speed Shop Paper Cuts ride rolling here at the front. But let's see if that 97 of Colton Hardy can find his way back up and around this 97 as we see a little bit of early smoke. Luckily enough, looks like everyone able to keep their stuff pointed in the right direction. But we do see a couple more drivers tied up and tore up. There's our first caution flag of the day. Oh, heartbreaker here for Nate Cogdell. Is Cogdell going to get tied up in this one? Pretty solid damage there on him, and you see the 6 ride rolling right on through here, but here comes that pace truck. You want to make sure you can stay in front of it if you're that 00 ride. You do not want to go a lap down here early in this race, but now has some pretty significant damage on this car. You can take a look at that right front, just pointing the wrong direction there, completely out of whack. The left front, it's missing that front bumper and the front fender there, and unfortunately, heavy damage here for him. Let's take a look at it, see what happens as the 00 may not have been the initial cause. It may have been something in front of him, but as we see there it is. So you watch the 44 ride. That's Paul Ferdinandi. Looks like Paul's going to get into quarter number 1 right here and just loses the rear end. Slides down the racetrack, bounces into the 4 ride there, the Liquid Death Machine of Mr. That is the 4 of Jesse Calloway, and then comes up the track, nowhere to go for that 00 machine, as that's some big damage there for him. And then as he's washing back down the racetrack there for Nate Cogdell, nowhere to go for Jimmy Fitzmaurice. He's going to drive in there. He's going to get a big piece of him. They get tied together. Look at Matt Hayden just trying to squeeze through there. Somehow or another, Hayden finds a hole down low, able to squeeze through that and keep himself out of trouble. So that's a big break there for that number 5 ride here early on. And we did see some smoke earlier here as well. Let's take a look back. I want to see if that's the 5 ride of Matt Hayden, who may have had some issues here out of the get-go. He started up towards the front of the field, and there it is, slideways on the racetrack, almost causing our first caution flag right there. The 92 really has to get checked up, and that's what moves Matt Hayden from virtually inside the top 5 to all of a sudden at the back of the pack here this evening. Heartbreaker there for that Razor ride. But you do see Nate Cogdell, he's making some trips down pit road trying to get this thing fixed up. Looks like him, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, and Paul Ferdinandi, the only drivers that are going to head down pit road here and try to get their cars repaired. And for Jimmy Fitzmaurice, He's actually in front of our race leaders here as the pace truck went by him. Our race leaders were by him as that caution flag came out. Looks like he will get the wave around though, so luckily enough, he's able to keep himself in the battle, stay on the lead lap, but he's got some pretty solid right front damage here for that 33 ride. He's going to need another caution flag early on to try to get that thing hooked up and back into working condition for the 0-0. Nate Cogdell looks like they have fixed that truck. It is back into one good piece, and he's able to get rolling again out there on the Speedway. Looks like he will stay in front of our race leaders, but they're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, so he's got to be very, very quick getting out of those pits, trying to keep himself in the action. As there we go, he is rolling down and out of corner number 2 right now. Unfortunately, he will not be at the tail end of that lead lap, and unfortunately he is going to be very, very close to going a lap down. As here we go, back to green flag racing here this evening. An early caution flag to dice things up a little bit more here, make things that much more interesting, but another great restart there for that 133 of Ashley Ellison Jr. is actually able to get a great launch, a solid jump, able to open up a couple truck length lead here between himself and that 97 to Colton Hardy. As Hardy hangs on to position number 2, we see Michael Madden now up and into 3rd here with Daniel Dow trying to slide his way up and into position number 4. Modesty trying to keep that 6 right in the 4th position here, not wanting to slide back any farther, as here comes that 51 of Joshua Moore as well. Moore early on making some moves here, has that Muhlenberger Custom Homes 51 truck hooked up here this evening, and we are going to get a stage break here this evening as well, so drivers know that you can be kind of hard on your equipment. You can push a little bit here early on in this race. Your tires should be fairly decent for a 30 lap run, especially with that caution flag making it even shorter, so you should be able to get some good laps in here, should be able to lay down some very, very fast lap times, just trying to set yourself up here for potentially some good stage points, especially when it comes to any of our playoff drivers, knowing that they want to earn those extra stage points when they can get them, use them to their advantage, trying to work themselves into the next round of our playoffs. So if you're a driver like this 97 ride of Colton Hardy, Hardy wants to try to get as many stage points here as possible, and that's what's causing him to run some pretty good laps right now. And there you go, he does make the move, gets around Ashley Ellison Jr. Ashley will slide back into 2nd, and Colton Hardy now out in front leading this race as the Ghost Energy winning bid QH Designs ride at the front of the field, looking strong here this evening as he's trying to put himself up and into victory lane here today. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, man, if you guys are enjoying the racing action early on here this evening, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the stream for us right now. Jump into the comment section just like Tower Operator did and let us know who you're cheering for, as he says, good evening, Tower Operator says, go number 51 and number 42, cheering on those Muhlenberger Custom Homes rides here this evening, as we did see the 51 of Joshua Moore was working his way forward, now sliding back ever so slightly, has fallen back into about the 9th position. We look a little deeper in the field at Kevin Winker, K-Dub, he's back here about that 21st position on the racetrack. Now normally we see K-Dub kind of rolling a little deeper in the field here, but not this deep, as he is falling quite a ways back here, now in behind this number 00 as well. So that's a tough break there for that number 42 of Kevin Winker. Sliding backwards here, gonna have to try to keep himself on the lead lap, as our race leader is not too far away from him, and any of that strategy that he was working on, whether it's trying to save the tires or trying to save some fuel early on, I'm not sure what the game plan is for the 42, but he's always working them strategies, and right now his strategy is gonna have to be stepping on that throttle a little harder, trying to keep himself on the lead lap, as Colton Hardy chasing them all down, trying to put some drivers a lap down before our stage break. That stage break coming up very, very soon, as there is only about 10 laps left to go here in this stage, and now we do see some drivers trying to keep themselves out of trouble, and it looks like the 33 ride, there you go, he is going to fall a lap down, so some more issues in, getting a little sideways there last time down through 3 and 4 for the Guinness beer ride, as unfortunately that car getting a little sideways, has that front end damage, will fall a lap down now on the racetrack, and that is not a fun place to be if you're that 33 machine, but he's just got to hope that Paul Ferdinand can hold off our race leader, keep that Sirius XM number 44 ride on the lead lap and not into that lucky dog position, as I know that Jamie Fitzmaurice is going to be hoping to try to get that lucky dog here, but it may not come too easy to him, as here we go, the 97 down low, he's making quick work of this 44 ride. Looks like Paul Ferdinand will also follow a lap down here as well. So he'll follow a lap down now into that lucky dog position. Just has to try to keep himself in front of Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Jimmy trying to hang right there with him. He knows that that lap in the lucky dog is on the line. His Modesty up and into position number 2 here is now we do see Daniel Dow. He's trying to slide up into position number 3. Stage points are on the line, and we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1. So if you can earn that extra stage point or 2, could be a big move for you to try to earn yourself those extra points. Now you do see a little bit of 3 wide. Look out, Michael Madden's going to get turned. Madden goes around. Caution flag on the racetrack. Caution flag. Contact there as they were 3 wide in the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC machine of Michael Madden is going to get roped around right there on corner exit. Unfortunately, I don't think any of these drivers figured that they would get 3 wide here with the 133 washing up the racetrack almost into the outside fence. Madden's trying to cut down, trying to avoid making contact with the 133. Obviously thought maybe he was clear of the 92, or potentially thought the 92 would kind of roll into the throttle right there. Unfortunately, not enough time for the 92 to make up his mind and get off the throttle, and unfortunately, that just gets into the 15 ride right there, right into that left rear quarter panel. Hooks him around and turns him around here on corner exit. That's all it takes, that little bit of nudge, that little bit of contact. Kind of just breaks rear traction, and that's all you can do except for hang on and try to keep yourself from washing down into the inside fence or rolling back up into the oncoming traffic, as you definitely don't want to get tore up this early in the race. And you got to watch this 51 right as he gets very close to almost tagging that inside wall. Luckily enough, he's able to avoid it and keep that truck rolling, as we do see drivers out there on the racetrack. They're all trying to run their way back up here towards the front, but we do see some takers coming down pit road here. The stage technically not closed as of yet. They're going to have to wait until the end of lap number 30 to officially make it to the end of the stages. I do believe that is the stage break here this evening. I do believe it is lap 30. Let me double check here. It is lap 30 is the competition caution, or the completion of lap 30 is the end of our first stage here in our competition caution flag virtually, and stage points do get handed out to our top 5, and right now our top 5 being Colton Hardy. Hardy definitely wanting those stage points. Same with Rusty Modesty, Daniel Dow, Matthew Catania there in position number 4. He'll earn some stage points here this evening, as well as the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby back there in that 5th position. Unfortunately, battling there for position number 4 or 5 there on the racetrack was Michael Madden. Madden will no longer get those stage points, so that's a big loss there for him. But we did see Joshua Moore come down pit road. We saw Kevin Winker, Michael Newman come down pit side. Michael Madden obviously getting some fresh tires and fuel into his truck. Keith Prince, Ashley Ellison Jr. also down pit road. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, he was hoping to try to get that wave around right there. Unfortunately, will not get the wave. And for the 44 of Paul Ferdinandi, Paul will earn that lucky dog. So Paul is back on the lead lap for Jimmy Fitzmaurice. He is the one and only driver that is a lap down out on the racetrack. So that will get us all stacked up here. Stage number 1 has come to a close, and that means we're on like Donkey Kong here. Now it's all about that tire strategy, fuel strategy, and what you need to do to try to put yourself up and into victory lane late in this race. As Colton Hardy with the restart gets a great launch down through corner number 4, gets a perfect run right there, and he'll keep that race lead. But now has that Majula Safe Speed Shop Team CFM Esports ride right on his back bumper as the 318 of Matthew Catania has been slowly but surely working his way up and through the field. Did not look like he had a great qualifying effort, qualifying all the way back in about the 14th position, but now we'll have 12 spots in parked in position number 2. He's looking to earn another position here, trying to put himself into the top spot as he races door to door with this 97 of Colton Hardy. And now you gotta wonder about those drivers that were down pit road. Did they take tires? Did they take fuel? What was the reasoning? They had to have taken fuel right there. There's no way they did not take fuel, but did they get tires? And how much will those tires make a difference here throughout this run? We already see Joshua Moore up into about that 13th spot on the racetrack. We take a little look back farther behind him. You see Brett Summers and Nate Cogdell. Cogdell was down pit road on lap number 6, getting those earlier repairs to that 0-0 ride. And then we see Keith Prince, and now we see another caution flag on the racetrack. Oh no, another yellow flag here this evening. I'm not sure if this is just a mandatory caution flag. I don't know if they just pushed the stage break back here. I believe that's potentially what we're seeing, or maybe we see some drivers running into issues. Doesn't look like it. I don't see anyone going around or anyone having a problem out there on the racetrack, so not too sure where this caution flag came from. So it had to have been admin's decision to extend our stage break there by about 5 laps, and that was the case. Then that's exactly what we'll see. Let's take a look, see if we see any other drivers running into problems. There's some a little deeper in the field right here. We don't see anyone going around, anyone pointing the wrong direction, so does look like that will be the end of the stage. So it looks like the stage went a little longer than people were anticipating. It was supposed to be lap 35, but looks like they may close it on lap number 35 here this evening, and not lap 30. And we do see Colton Hardy. He'll come down pit road. Same with Rusty Modesty down pit side. Daniel Dow, Jesse Calloway. Here comes that 5 of Matt Hayden. Skylar Berry also headed down pit road. Joe Bennett, Clinton Woodby down pit side. Here comes Nate Cogdell, Ash Ellison Jr., Kevin Winker even coming back down pit road. Paul Ferdinandi also down pit side. That should give the lucky dog back to the 33 here, and that will get Jimmy Fitzmaurice back on the lead lap. So great break there for Jimmy Fitzmaurice back on the lead lap here this evening. And now for drivers like Kevin Winker, Ash Ellison Jr., some of these drivers that we saw down pit road before this caution flag, during that first yellow flag that we had, well, second yellow flag that we had just before the end of this stage, you got to wonder about their strategy here. Obviously not getting tires for the 42, except for it does look like that left side did just get jacked up. So looks like he's getting left side tires onto that 42 truck, and he's getting fuel into the tank here. So I'm not sure if it's just another strategy call here out of the storybook in the Always Wild book of strategies there of Kevin Winker. So we'll have to wait and see what the Winker Nation ride can do. As Amanda Joy coming into the chat says hashtag Winker Nation, cheered on K-Dub here this evening, as Kevin Winker says this is the stage. Okay, this is the stage. Okay, so they did extend the stage there by 5 laps there. Okay, so that's good to know. That is good to know, brother. I appreciate that. K-Dub always coming in over there on Facebook to give us the updates on where things are and where things are standing there for the race here. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, end of stage number 1, and now we get into our final run of the day, which could be 110 laps of green flag racing. And if we do see it stay 110 laps, I don't know if these guys are going to be able to make it the whole way on fuel. I feel like they're going to need to make a pit stop. I do believe they only get 70% fuel capacity, so they're probably only going to be able to run about an 80-lap race or so. So it's going to be very, very interesting here on what the game plan is here for a couple of these drivers and what their plans are here for the rest of the evening, whether or not they race to lap 80, hope that it stays clean and green, that they don't get another caution flag, and that they don't put themselves into a tough position here, as we do see Colton Hardy sliding backwards here. Hardy up into the outside fence. He's falling like a rock all the way back now into that 15th position. We'll have to wait and see if he can get that car recollected here, trying to find that extra groove and trying to see if he can build up all that ground again here. As now we do see Michael Newman, he's up into the outside fence now. He loses quite a bit of time right there. He'll fall back a little farther, as there goes the 92 of Clinton Woodby on and around him. And here comes Kevin Winker, K-Dub right there in that 18th position. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy call is. Out in front, it is Matthew Catania. Catania with the race lead. He is looking pretty here at the front of the field, as you do see Caleb Kleinert, his teammate in the Majula Speed Shop ride, trying to jump up into position number 2, and that's exactly where Caleb will slide into here, as he will now jump into that second spot. Rooster Rodden back into position number 3. Now here comes one of the first drivers that we saw down on pit road, one of the first drivers that we saw make a pit stop here this evening. Is, yo, what's good, Evan Monaghan? What's good, Evan? Evan coming in with that like on the stream. Play for Cheats coming in with that like on the broadcast, as well as my boy, Mr. Eric Hardy, coming in with that heart reaction, says 97. Let's get it. Cheering on Mr. Colton Hardy here this evening as we get all these drivers duking it out here at the last great Coliseum. It is that number 318 of Catania still out in front here. Pretty sizable lead now, about 9/10 of a second between him and his teammate Caleb Kleiner. Joshua Moore, who was down pit road on lap number 29, got fresh tires, got fuel. He rolls there in third, and then you see that sixth rider, Rusty Modesty. Modesty was down pit road there on lap 38 and has quickly regained a ton of track position. Has his sixth ride back up inside the top 5. He was just trying to get around Joshua Moore here, so he's got the better tires, got the more fuel, and he is feeling fresh here at the front of the pack, trying to race in to our top 3 here this evening. Madden right there in position number 5. There you see the 5 ride of Matt Hayden. He's trying to work his way back up into the top 5 after an early slide from him, losing a ton of track position. He's got Jesse Calloway there to his outside. Here comes Brett Summers. We do see some more smoke right there. Looked like another driver running into some issues. It may have been that 51 of Joshua Moore. Let's play this back real quick. Let's back it up. Let's throw it into reverse, Terry, and that's exactly what we see get sideways. So the 51 just sends it in there a little too deep, gets that truck sideways, luckily enough able to catch it, able to collect it, keep it rolling, and only falls back into about that 5th position. But we do see the caution flag come back out. Yellow flag is back out on the racetrack as it looks like Nick Gardner gonna run into some issues here. The Napa Chevrolet gonna have an issue out there on the speedway. Let's take a look and see what happens here. As he's got the 12 ride right in front of him. This is a battle just outside of our top 10 here. He gets a little loose right there. The 92's on his back bumper, sends it down into corner number 3, and unfortunately just same thing we saw with the 51. Loses that rear end. Truck slides around on him right there. Luckily enough, able to keep it from making any major contact or collecting any other drivers. We did see K-Dub Kevin Winker get up and get a piece of the outside fence right here. Definitely a pretty sizable hit for that 42 as he's just trying to avoid the contact here. Sees this 27 spinning sideways, and as he does, he sees it. He's thinking that this 27's coming up into him, and he may even get a little contact there and a little help up into that outside fence. Doesn't look like much damage there, just a little kiss on both sides of that 42 ride, and able to keep on battling here this evening. But we do see that caution flag coming back out, and that's going to open up the door for drivers to make more strategy calls here. And again, we see Rusty Modesty, Michael Madden. Here comes Matt Hayden down pit road. Here comes Colton Hardy, Kevin Winker, also down pit side, Joe Bennett, Rooster Rodden, Ashley Elson Jr., Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Nick Gardner, Paul Ferdinandi, all coming down pit side. So virtually about half of our field coming back down pit road here, and it'll now be our top 11. They're going to stay out there on the racetrack, not coming down pit side this time. And for Matthew Catania, Caleb Kleinert, and the number 7 of Brett Summers, they are yet to come down pit road. They have not made a pit stop yet this evening. They have not made a single pit stop here today. And the laps are getting clicked down in a quick hurry here this evening as Mystic says, go get it revved, cheering on all of his revved esports teammates here this evening. Joel Moore says number 51, cheered on Joshua here this evening as the Moore family in the chat cheered on Mr. Joshua Moore here this evening. And so far, man, been some very good racing. A lot of back and forth, a lot of different strategies being played out. We'll have to wait and see kind of how the strategy figures out for these drivers. Potentially just trying to make it a one-stop race here for the guys at the front of the field. I'm assuming, I can't really speak on it. I don't know how much fuel they can make out of a tank here, but I'm going to say they're probably going to get somewhere around 80 laps for a tank of fuel. And I think that's the main reasoning here for Catania, Caleb Kleiner, not Jesse Calloway, for Catania and Kleiner, and then for the number 7 of Brett Summers here, is trying to keep that track position, trying to keep themselves out of some of the carnage there, maybe deeper in the field, but at the same point in time, if they can make it to somewhere around lap 80 and get lucky with the caution flag, then that could really help them out and make them get to the end of this race without even having to make another pit stop. I think they were getting very close to their number here. I feel like they're going to probably want to try to make it to around lap 70, lap 75 before that window really opens if we see a yellow flag come out around that area, around lap number 70-75. They should be able to make it to the end of this race without having to make another pit stop. But that puts everyone else in the same boat. They can come down pit road. They can get fuel as well. They may not have to spend as much time down pit side, but it does give the tire advantage potentially to the 318, the 196, and this 7 ride. As you see the 7 of Brent Summers following backwards out there on the racetrack. It's out in front. It is still Matthew Catania, so whatever he is doing, it is working. And Catania holds on to the race lead here. He does have that teammate right behind him. Caleb Kleiner is now. Kleiner gets very loose right there. Great job catching it and keeping that 196 pointed in the right direction, as that could have been dangerous in a quick hurry, not only for himself, but also for Joshua Moore and Jesse Calloway, as Moore able to get around him. Here comes that 51 ride, reeling into the 318 in a quick hurry. But this is the dangerous game that these guys are going to be playing. If they don't come down pit road here, if we don't get a caution flag, if we stay clean and green for, let's say, the next 20, 30, maybe 40 laps, where it really opens up the door that they have to come down pit road, that they need to come down pit side and get fuel into their trucks. Making a green flag pit stop here at Bristol, it is no joke, folks. As you come down pit road, you're more than likely going to lose a lap or two. Even if you're at the front of the field, you're probably still going to end up going down 2 laps. And that is a bad place to be, especially if the driver's back behind you. Some of those drivers that just came down pit side on, let's say, lap 54, when you look back at Matt Hayden or Colton Hardy, even some of the other drivers that were down pit road on lap 29 or lap 38, they can run that extra amount of laps with the fuel that they have in their trucks. So that means if you're forced to come down pit side on a green flag run, and they can run that much farther than what you can, potentially, you know, they catch a caution flag before they have to come down pit road. That could trap you a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. And if you get trapped a couple laps down, it is going to be very, very hard to battle back from that. But they do catch a caution flag. I think this is a little too early, but does it open up the door here for this being for drivers to be able to come down pit road? They catch a couple more caution flags. They just stay out and save fuel. Can they get to the end of this race? As we will see Rooster Rod in here. Looks like Rooster and Ashley Ellison Jr. are going to run into some issues. Rooster up on the high side, though, 133 on the outside. And, yeah, you just see the 101 right here. He actually gets up into the outside fence. Is the 133 kind of coming up the racetrack, and they're just going to run out of room here. They make contact. The 133 goes around off the front nose of that 01. Pretty solid contact for both of these drivers, and that brings the yellow flag out, and that makes it for it's game time. It's showtime for some of these drivers. Here we go. We do see Caleb Kleiner. We do see Matthew Catania all come down pit road. Here comes Clinton Woodby. He's going to come back down pit side here himself. Skylar Berry also down pit road in the 46. Brent Summers also down pit side. Michael Newman, Joe Bennett, Rooster Rodden, Ashley Ellison Jr. all coming down pit side here. So finally we see those drivers that were yet to come down pit road finally make a pit stop here this evening, and now they just got to hope that they can get enough fuel into their trucks that they can make it to the end of this race and not have to make another pit stop here on the evening. If they can make it the rest of the way, not having to make another green flag pit stop could really set themselves up nicely here later in this race. But it's still a big question mark. It's still a a big question mark on whether you're going to see more caution flags later in the race. If we're going to see these drivers potentially run into issues and have that strategy kind of get thrown out of the window, or maybe we can see some of these other drivers that were down pit side. If they were down pit road on lap 54. Maybe they've got enough. Maybe they can make it 90 so laps, and maybe they can save that extra 4 or 5 laps of fuel that they need during some of these caution flags, that they don't have to make another pit stop here this evening. So it's going to get very interesting here for track position and for fuel strategy, even tire strategy here late in this race to try to put yourself up and into victory lane. Is out in front leading this race. It is the 51 of Joshua Moore. Moore has the race lead. He will get ready to see the restart here with the 4 rider Jesse Calloway down to his inside. Daniel Dow up and into third with Keith Prince there in fourth. Then we see the 5 rider Matt Hayden, the 97 of Colton Hardy, who's raced his way back up into position number 6. Michael Madden there in 7th. Nick Cogdell, Nick Gardner, Rusty Modesty are top 10 out there on the racetrack. You got to look all the way back to about that 15th position before you see what was our race leader in that 318, Matthew Catania. Catania right there getting a little hung up, a little back in behind this 44 ride of Paul Ferdinand. He looks like he's going to try to make quick moves around this 44, and there he goes down to the inside, able to make the move. As now he's got some other traffic he's going to have to try to navigate his way through and hope to try to keep that truck in one piece here this evening. Is out in front, it is Joshua Moore. Moore with the race lead here this evening. As Shadow Rita says, let's go Winker, hashtag Winker Nation over there on the YouTube stream. Show the love there to K-Dub here this evening, as Joshua Moore is Muhlenberger Custom Homes teammate out there on the racetrack. Josh and that 42 of Kevin Winker both on different strategies here, trying to figure out what they need to do to try to find victory lane. And now you see the 27 getting very squirrely right there. That was a close call for Nick Gardner. Gardner got very, very close to going around, and that allows Matthew Catania to not only get around him, but also around the 92 of Clinton Woodby. And now you see that 318 trying to slice and dice his way through that 42 of Kevin Winker. Reels up to the back end of our top 10. He's got Nate Cogdell and Michael Madden right there in front of him. His teammate making it through the traffic a little bit quicker here. That is that 196 of Caleb Kleinert. Kleinert up into about the 8th position here. He's slicing and dicing his way through the traffic, trying to race his way up to the front of the field here. His teammate stuck a little farther back here, just trying to find a hole, a gap, a way to get up and through some of this traffic with the newer tires and a lot of fuel in these rides. We'll see what he can do here. Late in this race, is there some contact? Now he's going to get clipped. Down the racetrack goes the 42 of Kevin Winker, the 318 of Catania. There's the caution flag. Caution flag will come out as it looks like Catania gonna get in there a little too far here. I'm not sure if Madden starts to go around before contact. We'll take a look. It looks like that 15 right already a little sideways right there. So Michael Madden getting into the corner. Looks like he's just trying to hang on to this truck. And as he starts to slide sideways now, he could have saved it, could have kept it going in the right direction here. But he's losing speed. He's rolling out of the throttle, not wanting to go around there or loop himself. Unfortunately for the 318, Catania did not realize that soon enough. Could not roll out of the throttle. Gets in the back end of him. Helps him get sideways down the racetrack into the 42 ride of Kevin Winker. Then up into that 318. And then here he comes back down the racetrack. Heavy front end damage there. Rolling into the back end of that Muhlenberger Custom Homes 42. As K-Dub going to get some pretty sizable damage right there. Same with Catania and that 15 of Michael Madden. It's the second time Madden's had some extra help there going around, as now we do see pit lane back open. We do see Jesse Calloway. We see Daniel Dow. Here comes Nate Cogdell down pit side. Madden's down pit road. Skylar Berry, Paul Ferdinand, Joe Bennett, Catania, Kevin Winker, all back down pit side here, looking to try to get some fuel, tires, some damage repaired here, trying to get themselves back into the action here this evening. We did see Ashley Ellison Jr. did go a lap down right here. I'm not sure if Ashley just got the wave around or potentially still in line for the wave around to try to get back on the lead lap. We'll have to wait and see what the game plan is here for that number 133 machine. I do believe that Ashley has fallen a lap down, and I do believe has already gotten the wave around, so we'll stay a lap down here this evening as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to battle. You're at Bristol, and this brings us right to lap number 80. Next time by the start-finish line, we will complete lap number 80 here this evening. So we're just over halfway in and halfway to go here in this race. 150 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway does not take very long. Even with the caution flags, this race is clicking away in a quick hurry. This one is just flying by. I don't know who made this 150 laps, but it was a blessing to your broadcaster up here, because it's a little less time. We got to be up here in the booth. I mean, it sucks that we're not going to be live as long, but man, it's going to go right on by in a quick hurry here this evening. It's already 80 laps down. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, especially if we see green flag laps. We can see a lot of laps getting clicked off in a hurry here this evening, as we're going to jump into our midway break here. A quick little Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers, as it's going to be a crank it up here, not for very long, a very quick one here this evening. Already looks like they will add a lap before we get ready to go back to battle here today. So an extra lap right there, and that will get everyone kind of settled back in, everyone kind of back into where they need to be, as we did see potentially some more issues here for Matthew Catania. I'm not sure what was going on here. Everyone trying to figure out where they need to line up. I think that's where the confusion came from. And then finally, looks like he realizes that iRacing's telling him to go to the back of the pack there. He will fall to the rear, and that's where he will get ready to restart here this evening. We did see Kevin Winker also go a lap down there and score back in position number 22. So he'll be looking for a quick caution flag, hoping that he can get the lucky dog here this evening. As here we go, back to green flag racing here at Bristol as we jump into our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. Alrighty, there is the caution flag. Yellow flag, back out into the air. So caution flag does come back out rather quickly here in our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up, and it looks like the driver that was playing that strategy game early on going to get tied up in another one. As contact here between him and the 0-5 ride of Joe Bennett. So Bennett and Catania getting tied up here. Let's take a look back at it. So the Mexico, hell of a lean right on the outside. Catania down low. Looks like maybe a little neck code right there. Kind of knocks that rear end out on that 5 right. And then there goes the rear end of the 318. They make more contact right there. And then down the front straightaway, they just keep leaning on each other. Unfortunately, they're both trying to get pointed back in the right direction. They both continue to get tied together. Kevin Winker is right there. He's not expecting them to be making that much contact or losing that much speed. Unfortunately, they end up making that contact, and around goes 318 right there. It goes up and around, and luckily enough gets stopped on the racetrack before hitting the outside fence. Not a spot you want to be, though, as I'm not sure if that'll trap him a lap down or not. We'll have to wait and see, but the 0-5, I believe, going to get the worst end of this contact here, as that was some pretty solid damage for both of these drivers, and for Catania and Joe Bennett. They both end up with some pretty sizable damage, but for the 0-5, gets the worst of it right there as they get kind of stacked together. He ends up hard contact into that outside fence, pointed the wrong direction. Heavy damage there on the speedway, and now that's going to open up the door for more drivers to make strategy calls here. We see Colton Hardy coming back down pit road, so Hardy makes a pit stop. We saw Catania back down pit road here as well in that 318. Keith Prince, Paul Ferdinandi, the 0-1, Rooster Ronin, Joe Bennett down pit side. Looked like, I do believe, Ashley Ellison Jr., I do believe, did get the wave around the lucky dog back onto the lead lap here this evening. Kevin Winker still one lap down here. He's going to need another quick caution flag to try to get himself back into the battle here this evening, as we do see Joshua Moore out in front, has the race lead. He's been yet to come down pit road since lap 29. He's the longest running driver out there on this tank of fuel. No one else has been running this long on a tank here so far this evening. Other drivers that came down pit road on lap 54 include Matt Hayden, Rusty Modesty. I believe Nick Gardner was down pit road on lap 54. Same with Jimmy Fitzmaurice. Everyone else since then has been back down pit road. So some varying pit strategies here this evening, as here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing and back to our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So again, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. Alrighty, the caution flag strikes again. Already damage to the back end of that 42 rider, Kevin Winker. And it looks like Winker Nation gonna run into some more issues here this evening as K-Dub heads down into the corner number 3 right here. Not sure if the damage to the back end of this ride just affecting him too much here this evening, but sends it in there. Loses that rear end, just has no rear traction. Truck slides sideways, and unfortunately, he is going to go around right here. He's trying to get checked up, trying to keep it rolling. Does not want to see that caution flag. Unfortunately, the truck kind of just snap hooks back up onto the racing surface, and nowhere to go for the 0-5 ride. Big hit again there for that 0-5 machine. As Joe Bennett slams into Kevin Winker, K-Dub, even more damage and contact there. It looked like it was going to be fairly innocent for him, but unfortunately tears him up pretty good there on the speedway. Washes down the racetrack, almost in to Ashley Elson Jr. Luckily enough, Ashley able to keep himself out of the trouble. Keep on battling here this evening, but another yellow flag, another caution here today, and that's going to bring us closer and closer to lap 100 here this evening, and that's going to really help out some of these other drivers that are kind of on different strategies here. When you look up at Joshua Moore, when you look at Matt Hayden, even some of these other drivers that were down pit side on lap 54, Nick Garner there, you gotta wonder what their game plan is, what their strategy is. Are they just trying to keep the track position, not wanting to come down pit side, or are they waiting for maybe later in this race to make a pit stop, throw a set of tires on, and hopefully use them to race their way back up towards the front of the field here? I'm not sure what the game plan is, as right now they have a massive tire disadvantage here, especially when you look at Joshua Moore last down pit road on lap 29, the drivers around him down pit side on lap 68, lap 54, even some farther back there now down pit road around lap 79, lap 89, 95. There's a lot of drivers on different tire strategies, fuel strategies. What's going to be the game plan? How do you play this out? How do you put yourself into the winning position here late in this race? We're going to find out as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening, as Joshua Moore has the race, or not, actually it's Caleb Kleiner who took over that race lead, so Caleb now out in front has the race lead. We'll get ready for this restart. Looks like he'll elect to use the outside lane as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. We'll continue on with our Peacemaker Gaming, crank it up here just for a little bit longer, and then we'll be right back here into the booth. As the yellow flag going to come back out here in this one, that is going to bring a close to our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up here this evening. Let's take a look back at it. As out of corner number 2, we see Catania right here. I do believe we're going to see Matthew get into the corner, and I don't know if he gets help here or if he just gets loose. Looks like he gets loose right there. Loses that car, washes up the racetrack. 92 right of Clinton would be just able to avoid him, able to keep himself out of that CFM performance ride as the Majula Safe Speed Shop ride goes for a loop-de-loop there, down and out of corner number 2. Gets down the racetrack, makes some pretty good contact again with that inside fence, so maybe more damage here for Catania this evening, and unfortunately that does bring the yellow flag back out, and that does set us up for another wave of pit stops here. And now we do see some drivers elected to come down pit side. We take a look and we see the driver of the 51, Joshua Moore, the Muhlenberger Customs Home Rides, coming back down pit side. Rusty Modesty also coming down pit road. Here comes Matt Hayden. Daniel down pit side. Here comes Catania again, looking to get some repairs to that 318 machine. Ashley Elson Jr. also down pit road. And I do believe Kevin Winker should be getting the wave around here potentially. Should be getting that lucky dog. Now, I do believe K-Dub has now fallen another lap down or two here, so I'm not sure how this is going to get scored, but I do believe he's at least now 2 laps down, so I'm not sure how this is going to play out for Kevin Winker. Tough day for him. Looked like the strategy maybe was helping him out there, maybe able to keep himself into the fight with some of these yellow flags, but so far not helping him here this evening. As out in front, it is Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner does have the race lead. Now Nick Gardner right behind him was last down pit road on lap number 54, so going to be an interesting call here for Gardner and what he can do late in this race. Michael Newman down pit side there on lap 68. Then we see a lot of these drivers back behind him have came down pit road since then. So lap 79, we saw Jesse Calloway, Nate Cogdell, Michael Madden, Skylar Berry, all down pit road there on lap number 69. Then 79. Then we saw a lot of these drivers like Colton Hardy, Rooster Rodden, Paul Ferdinandi, going down pit road there on lap 89, and then more drivers down pit road here on lap 95. More drivers down pit side now on lap 101. So there's a bunch of different variations of pit strategies, whether it's for fuel or tires or whatever they desire out there on the racetrack, and that's going to set us up for a very exciting finish to this race as the green flag back out into the air here this evening. Just under 50 laps left to go, and out in front, it is that 196, the Scott Bloomquist-inspired ride here this evening as the Bloomer machine out in front leading this race. It is Caleb Kleiner who has this race lead, has these drivers back there at bay. Is the 27 rider Nick Gardner in position number 2 here. Seems like Gardner potentially maybe even holding up some of these drivers and kind of just running the middle of the racetrack, making it very, very tough for any of these guys to try to get around him. You do see Jesse Calloway right there trying to make the move, trying to get around that 27. He's finally able to get through there, and Calloway in that liquid death number 4 jumps up into position number 2 here this evening. Nate Cogdell now up into 3rd for a driver that got tied up, tore up in our first caution flag of the day. This is a heck of a rebound for him now into that 3rd position on the racetrack. We'll see if he can hang on to that good run here as the last lap around, man. This number 196 rider Caleb Kleiner, last 2 laps around, has laid down not only his fastest laps, but the fastest laps of this race. No one has been quicker than this 196 ride all evening long. Now he's got that clean air, he's got this truck out in front, he is not slowing down, he is not giving up, but we do see the caution flag come back out. Caution flag back out onto the racetrack here. Not sure what this yellow flag is for. We did see quite a bit of smoke out there on the racetrack. Let's take a look and see kind of what's going on here. What's happening? Where's this smoke coming from? As we saw a lot of drivers sliding around, and there it is. Looks like the 7 ride of Mr. Brett Summers. Running into some issues here. We've seen it time and time again so far here this evening. Sends it down low, loses that rear end, goes around. Luckily enough, looks like everyone able to avoid making contact with that 7 ride, but sideways there on the racetrack. Nonetheless, we'll bring out the caution flag. So the yellow flag will fly, and we will get another restart here this evening, and that's just inching us closer and closer to our checkered flag, as we did see Catania down pit road for an extended period of time right there, as he did just come back in onto the racetrack after getting this truck repaired. He's now back to, I do believe, 1 lap down, but he is still a lap down here. He gets a lap back, but still now he's 1 lap down for Kevin Winker, unfortunately, with that 318 ride going a couple laps down right there, and him not being in front of that 318 did not get that lucky dog right there again, so he's going to need probably about another 2 to 3 caution flags to even try to get himself back into contention here this evening, and hope that other drivers do not fall a lap down or 2 laps down in front of him here this evening, as we do see Paul Ferdinandi. We saw Ashley Elson Jr., Michael Newman also coming down pit road there in that 12 ride. We did see Nick Gardner as well, so Gardner giving up position number 2 to head down pit road here, as he was starting to fall back. Those tires definitely fading away, but now coming down pit side, looks like he's going to get a fresh set of tires on and a full tank of fuel. He'll be good here to the end of this race. We'll have to wait and see if he can race his way back up towards the front of the pack. That's going to be the big question mark, is how much are these tires going to make a difference here in where you're able to run, how you're able to make moves and slide your way through that traffic and rebound late in this race where potentially if we get, a couple more late race yellow flags, is it worth giving up the track position compared to getting the new tires? Or is it better to get those new tires where you're going to probably regain all that track position back and then maybe some extra where it makes it worth it to maybe make that final pit stop, throw that final set of tires on, and roll yourself up towards potentially victory lane? So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, how that all comes to fruition here for these drivers as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing as Caleb Kleinert out in front, choosing the outside lane here once again for this restart, getting ready to go back to battles. We did see Brett Summers having to check up there. We did see Catania getting that wave around wheel start at the rear of the field, but he is now in that lucky dog position. So if we do see another caution flag, he would get the lucky dog and back on the lead lap, which would be a huge break there for that 318 ride, as right now he's stuck back at about that 21st position. As the green flag back out in the air, it's Caleb Kleinert who has the race lead. Kleinert looking very strong here this evening, but here comes our driver that started in the pole position. It is that 97 ride of Mr. Colton Hardy. Hardy right there in position number 2 here once again this evening, battling his way back up towards the front of the pack as we do see some smoke there in corner number 3 and 4 again, as it looked like Michael Newman potentially running into some problems there last time through 3 and 4. This time though a lot cleaner, but he does fall back into about that 20th position, which wasn't much farther than where he was already after losing a ton of track position just coming down pit side during that last caution flag. But it's all Kleinert out in front as Caleb has this race lead, trying to hold Colton Hardy, Jesse Calloway, Nate Cogdell, and now Rooster Rod, and back there at Bays. Now look out, there goes the 4 ride, and the caution flag will come back out. Caution flag back out on the racetrack as the 4 truck going to lose it here. I didn't think Bristol was this tough, chat. I don't know if it's the setups, if it's the tires, or the trucks themselves. It always seems like Bristol is much better for drivers not self-spinning here at the Speedway, and unfortunately here tonight we've seen it quite a bit, and right there again you're going to see the 4 just rolling back onto the throttle on corner exit, loses the rear end, slides around, and ends up making some pretty sizable contact there into that inside fence. Fortunately, that will put us back under the yellow flag here late in this race. Now, that's a great blessing again to that 318 of Matthew Catania, as that will put Catania back onto the lead lap, and for a lot of our playoff drivers, I think that's the last thing you wanted to see. You did not want to see this 318 machine getting another wave around, getting back on the lead lap, putting himself into position to potentially make some moves and race his way up towards the front of the field. Led laps, throughout the middle portion of this race, playing some of that strategy game, and now obviously paying the price for making that strategy call, going deeper in the field, giving up that track position. But right there, it did look like he missed that commitment going. I'm not sure if iRacing may give him a penalty for that, coming down pit road a little too quick. We'll have to wait and see what the call is from iRacing. Obviously missing that orange cone, that orange box, but we'll see if there's a penalty for that or not. There may not be. That may just be more for green flag racing and not showing yellow. So that may be the big break for that 318. We'll have to wait and see if he does serve a penalty down pit side. But we do see Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Michael Madden, Ashley Ellison Jr., Brett Summers, Skylar Berry, Catania, Jesse Calloway, Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Michael Newman, all back down pit side here again as well. So about 13 drivers did not come down pit road that time around, as Caleb Kleinert out in front continues to have this race lead, but now with only about 30 laps left to go here, I do believe the next time by the start finish line it will be about 29 laps of racing action left here in this race. Biting, we do see some potential green-white checkered, some NASCAR overtime here this evening. Our regular scheduled distance here is only 150 laps, so for these drivers, that's clicking down at a quick hurry. But the route that we've kind of had here with a lot of these yellow flags could potentially bring in the prospect of seeing some of these late race yellows here today. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how this gets played out as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As Phil Holiday coming in, dropping that follow over there on Facebook. Welcome to the family, Phil. Phil coming in, becoming a brand new member of the Peacemaker family here this evening as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing as that number 196 of Caleb Kleinert sees that green flag fly, quickly jumps on the lap pedal, looking to try to keep the rest of these drivers back there in his dust as he's trying to keep them all back there at bay. But right now, they're all hunting him down. Here comes Rooster Rodden trying to make some moves here. He works to the outside of Colton Hardy for position number 2 on the speedway. They're door to door there for second, and that's exactly what Caleb wants to see. Wants to see them duke it out, burn their stuff up here, potentially run into issues back behind him, which can just continue to keep giving him an advantage in the race lead, where he's opening up that lead more and more and more, lap after lap after lap, pulling further and farther away from the rest of this field. That's down across the line. They will complete lap 125, and we only got 25 laps left in this race. And for Caleb Kleinert, he's got to be feeling pretty good here at the front of the field, but we do see another caution flag coming out. Caution flag is back out here. Looks like Michael Newman going to run into some issues here for the 12 ride. Parked sideways there on the racetrack. Looks like he's going to tow that ride down pit sign off the speedway here. Let's take a look and see what happens as he's running into corner number 1 right here. I'm not sure if Skylar Barry gets into him, if Barry gives him a shot right here or not. Barry is right there on his back bumper, running tight to him here, and you see the little shot right there on the corner entry. And I think that's kind of what starts it right there. Just that little extra bump from the 46 sends the 12 right in there a little bit too hot and heavy. He's got to try to roll out of that throttle, ride the brakes, and unfortunately just kicks that rear end out around on him. Then he bounces off the 46, which then sends him up and into the outside wall right there. Big hit for him, and nowhere to go for Jesse Calloway and Jimmy Fitzmaurice. No, it's not Jimmy Fitzmaurice. That's Paul Ferdinandi in the Sirius XM ride. Going to get a little contact into that, but that's a big hit right there for the 12 ride. Then we're going to see more drivers. There's Jimmy Fitzmaurice. There's that 133 ride. Also getting collected there. Some pretty solid contact for Ashley Ellison Jr. And it looks like for Mr. Ellison Jr., that is going to X him out here. So I do believe Ashley Ellison Jr. and Michael Newman may be the first 2 drivers potentially out of this race. K-Dub, he was in line right there for potentially another wave around, another lucky dog here. We'll have to wait and see if he gets blessed here, if he gets another lap back and back on the lead lap here this evening. I believe he should get the lucky dog unless he plans on coming down pit road right here. Does not look like it, so we'll see if he gets that wave around finally and back into contention here this evening as Caleb Kleinert, another big restart coming up here. The laps continue to get shorter and shorter here to our checkered flag, and all he's got to do is just keep hitting these restarts and hoping that they continue to battle back there behind him. As Rooster Rodden in second, Clinton would be there in third, Colton Hardy back in fourth, Modesty there in fifth, Nate Cogdell, Daniel Dow, Matt Hayden, Nick Garner, and Joshua Moore round out our top 10. Joe Bennett there in 11th, with Michael Madden back in 12th. Skylar Barry there in 13th. Brett Summers there in 14th. Matthew Catania up into about that 15th position with Jimmy Fitzmaurice, Jesse Calloway, Paul Ferdinandi, Keith Prince there in 19th. Kevin Winker, K-Dub, I do believe is still 1 lap down here for Kevin Winker. So he's going to need another caution flag and trying to get himself back into this race. Ashley Ellison Jr. is off the racetrack, has been disqualified from this race. And for Michael Newman, still parked down pit side as here we go back to Green Flag Racing here at the last great Coliseum. It's Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Bristol, baby, here with the Metalheads Truck Series as the big red customs diecast 150 here this evening as Caleb Kleinert out in front, holding down the 4, holding down that top spot as Rooster Rodden and Colton Hardy going to try to track him down. Is Hardy able to work himself around around the 92 ride of Clinton Woodby now has Rusty Modesty down to his inside though, as here comes a couple of these drivers, and now look out, the 92 loses an edge and he goes around. Look out, caution flag back out onto the racetrack. Caution flag back out here as this time it is the number 92 ride. Gonna have his turn go around out there on the racetrack. Let's take another look at it. I'm not sure if there's contact here. Doesn't look like it. Just looks like, yeah, getting back onto the throttle, loses that rear end truck, goes around right there. You see the 0-0 getting some pretty good rear end damage from Hayden and Mr. Moore right there as they both run into the back end of that 0-0 machine as he's trying to get checked up to avoid running into the 92. And unfortunately for the winning bid ride of Clinton Wood, be pretty solid contact there into that inside fence as he goes around. That will bring the caution flag back out. Now for Kevin Winker, great break here for the Winker Nation fans in the stands. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're a Winker Nation fan, let's get here for Kevin Winker, man. Sticking with it, not giving up, continuing to battle here all race long. And now for the 42, that Muleburger Custom Homes Sonic Graphic Designs ride. Back on the lead lap, back into contention here to try to move his way forward here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he's got anything left in the tank, if he can make some late race moves here and try to put himself into potentially a better position out there on the racetrack. As we do see Jimmy Fitzmaurice also down pit side. Obviously, Clinton Wood be coming down pit road, trying to get that truck repaired. Winker making a pit stop. Looks like he's going to probably throw on a final set of tires here and everything else to try to set himself up for a good day. And it did look like Jimmy Fitzmaurice did get a black flag there, so potentially a speeding penalty down pit road for the 33. So he may be spending an extended period of time down pit side. As I do see that black flag on there, unless if a admin clears that black flag for the 33. He may be sucked down pit road here for a couple laps as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. And it looks like he's out of there pretty quick. So black flag is not cleared. We'll have to wait and see if that becomes an issue for him. Lights are still on, though. Our official iRacing pace truck. And you're starting to see this 196 ride running down on the apron. You got to wonder if that's potentially just trying to save some fuel here. He was last down pit road on lap number 68. Everyone else has been back down pit road since lap 68. He is the longest running driver without coming down pit side. We've talked about how they could probably run about 80 laps or so. Obviously, with these caution flags, may open it up a little bit more. Maybe it's a little bit less. We'll have to wait and see if fuel does potentially become an issue for Caleb Kleinert, especially if we start to see green-white checkers here this evening. If we see a couple green-white checkers, it may put him into a very, very tough position as he may have to come down pit road and get that extra fuel into his ride as we get him all ready to rumble here again. Caleb Kleinert out in front has the race lead. It's Rooster running down to his inside here as Rooster hoping to try to get a bit of a good jump right there. Not the jump that he was really hoping for, as now he'll battle down into corner number 1 with that 6th ride of Rusty Modesty. Modesty with a great restart in the 6th ride, quickly reels into the back bumper of our race leader, and Modesty looking like he may find that groove, but there's some contact back behind him. Look at a big pile up. It's a parking lot down on the front straightaway. Parking lot here on the front stretch. A lot of drivers tied up and tore up here in this one. As we did see Daniel Dow tied up in it. A bunch of other drivers in here as well, including Michael Madden, Nate Cogdell, and a lot of other fast cats here having issues. Let's take a look here and see what happens as this was just outside our top 5. The 0-0 right there gets loose. Loses that car, washes up the racetrack, ends up clipping the 2 ride, the 5 of Matt Hayden. Really nowhere for him to go, and then everyone else just stacking up, piling up, trying to figure out where they need to be. Hayden gets more damage. Looks like maybe a little contact for the 46 of Skylar Berry. Some pretty good contact there for the 27 ride as Nick Gardner nowhere to go there in that one. He's going to get turned around. He's end up nosed into that inside fence right there. Pretty heavy hit there for him. We saw Michael Madden also around as that was a big pile up down and out of corner number 3 and 4 once again. As let's take a look at it here as the 0-0. Nate Cogdell just gonna get loose right here. This is it's a tough break for him. Let's see if we can get another angle at it here, really show you the looseness that he's feeling into the corner as he rolls it in down low, trying to get back onto the throttle right there. You see that truck get sideways. Now he's trying to correct it. As he does, it kind of just washes this truck up the racetrack. He realizes he's washed it back up into traffic. truck kind of kicks back out and around as he's trying to keep it down low, and unfortunately, just not the way that's going to play out. And unfortunately for all these other drivers that are just going to get continuously piled into here, they got nowhere to go. They end up getting solid damage and a lot of tore up race trucks out there on the speedways. Everyone's just trying to keep themselves out of it, and that's going to really set us up for, again, another interesting restart, as we did see Colton Hardy come down pit side right there as well. Interesting call for Colton Hardy to come down pit road. We did see Nate Cogdell also down pit side, obviously getting this truck somewhat repaired here and ready to battle again this evening. But for Colton Hardy, he was running up inside the top 5, decides to come down pit road here. On lap 140, he'll be restarting in about the 17th position, 18th position here in this one. We'll have to wait and see if maybe the fresh tires will help navigate his way up towards the front of the field here. But not a lot of laps left in this race, especially if we see it clean and green. And now for Caleb Kleinert, what does that do for the field here? As Skunk says, great coverage as always, Peacemaker. I appreciate that, showing the love here in this one. Manda Barry says, let's go. Skylar Barry is back there about that 7th position, ready to restart here. Here we go, back to green flag racing. Great restart again for Caleb Kleiner. That's what he's looking to just continue to try to do. Get these big restarts. Hope to see a caution flag before that, these trucks swallow him up. As here they come. Here comes that 51 of Joshua Moore. Here comes that 6 of Rusty Modesty. Matt Hayden right there, ready to pounce as well, as they're all trying to figure out a way to get around Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner hoping that they continue to battle door to door and amongst each other and allow him to kind of run away with this one. But we're going to see the yellow flag come back out here in this one. So cautions, once again, reading cautions. The yellow flag will again fly here this evening. So another yellow flag out there on the speedway. Let's take a look at it, as again it looks like potentially Mr. 0-0 here, Nate Cogdell in that Ghost Energy Sonic Graphic Designs ride, looking very beautiful out there on the racetrack. Looks like he's going to lose that rear end again out of corner number 4. Goes around, noses it into the wall, pointed the wrong direction there on the racing surface, and that will bring the caution flag right back out here. Heartbreaker there for the 0-0 ride, and that will put us under the yellow flag once again. So another late race restart to try to figure out how this is going to get played out. Caleb Kleiner's been hitting these restarts perfectly, and we're probably going to go back to green flag racing. Very, very close to a green-white checkered finish. It probably won't be NASCAR overtime, as I do believe next time around they will complete lap number 146. Lap 147 should be kind of where we go back to green flag racing. So could be a 3-lap shootout, could be a 2-lap shootout. We'll have to wait and see how this kind of gets settled here this evening, as this race continues to fly by. We're pretty much there at the checkered flag, ladies and gentlemen. Only an hour and 10 minutes into this race, which is absolutely crazy because the amount of caution flags we've had and for how quickly this race has been moving along, man, it's crazy that it's only been just over an hour here. And if we didn't have these caution flags, this race would have already been over. If we would have only seen 2 or 3 caution flags throughout the night, this race would have been long done and over with. We would have been done post-race interviews. We would have been already out of here, but we're fine with it. We expected these yellow flags. That's why they only made it 150 laps, and that's why we figured we'd be here for at least a good hour and a half up here in the booth, putting on this show and doing our post-race interviews and breaking down how all the chaos and mayhem gets unfolded here at the last great Coliseum, as these Warriors, they've been duking it out here all night long, and we'll get ready to see who can finally find their way up and into victory lane here in our second playoff race of the season, as Caleb Kleiner going to be looking for another big restart. This time, though, he's got that 51 of Joshua Moore down to his inside. Can Josh get a better restart? Can he stay door to door with that 196 ride? How much fuel is potentially on the line here for Caleb Kleiner, as I do believe we go back to green flag racing. This will be a green-white checkered. So if we see the white flag fly, the next flag will end this race. If the caution flag flies before the white flag does, then that means we will head to NASCAR overtime here this evening. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, buckle those seats and get ready for what's going to be a wild show. As here we go, great restart again for Caleb Kleiner. Kleiner with a perfect restart. He needed that one. As here they go, door to door. Matt Hayden looking to try to jump up into position number 2. Now he dives it deep down low as here they come down and out of corner number 4. White flag will fly, so the next flag will end this race no matter what. Does Matt Hayden got something left in the tank? Can he find his way around Caleb Kleinert? Is Kleinert down into corner number 3 for the final time here this evening? He will hang on and he will pick up the checker flag here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Caleb Kleinert gets the dub. Last lap around the racetrack was his quickest lap of this race. The quickest lap of the entire race. No one quicker out there on the speedway than the final lap for pretty much all these drivers, laying down their quick lap times. They're in that final stint, that final lap, the quickest lap for virtually everybody inside our top 10, 11 out there on the racetrack here this evening. That is absolutely insane as Caleb Kleinert gets to celebrate, picking up the big dub here this evening. Hayden coming home in second. Joshua Moore there in third. Rusty Modesty, Rooster running our top 5. Matthew Catania being able to rebound. Jumps up into position number 6 there on the racetrack. Good rebound there for the 318 after being a couple laps down and being able to stick with it and battle into the great run right there. And then we see Skylar Berry back in 7th. Michael Madden, Daniel Dow. A couple of these other drivers out there as well, as we do see Matt Hayden also celebrating here. He's pretty pumped up with the second place finish. He'll head down pit sign here, so we'll have to wait and see. As Caleb Kleinert, though, picking up the dub, getting the win here this evening. He's rolling pit lane right now. He's pretty pumped up. Picking up the win here this evening, man. What a run, what a race, what a drive here from all these drivers, man. That was a heck of a show out there on the racetrack, man. They put on a great race for us, and here you go. You will see this 196 of Caleb Kleinert. He's going to pull it up into the Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Caleb Kleinert, as we'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews. Hey, Caleb, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Caleb, man, what a run, what a race, brother. Take us back through this one. Obviously, a slew of caution flags here this evening, and then some pit strategy out of you. You see out there on the racetrack until lap 68. You come down pit sign, and that was the one and only time we see you make that pit stop. You're able to navigate your way back to the front of the field there. You're able to get back out in front, and once you got that race lead, you were just hitting these restarts perfectly, not giving an inch to the drivers back there behind you, even though they were getting some good runs or had better tires or more fuel than you did. There was no advantage out there on those short stints, and you were able to just time them perfectly, and being at the front of the field, man, was the best place to be, and you were able to cash it all in and pick up a big checker flag here this evening in the Big Red Custom Diecast 150 here from Bristol, man. Take us back through this race, and what's going through your mind right now is to get to park it up here in the Bristol Motor Speedway Food City Victory Lane.
Yeah, man. It's been struggle through the summer here, trying to just piece races together. But, you know, got the win at Eldora earlier this year to lock ourselves in the playoffs. So, and this locks us into the second round. So that's awesome because I'm not sure about Daytona Road Course next week. But yeah, like you said, I messed up in qualifying and wrecked it. So we had to start 20th and made it up there to 6th in that first run. And I knew there we had a good piece. So I just, just stayed out until I knew I could make it on one stop fuel-wise, and I was just going to go from tires from there, depending on what happened and if we had a long run or not. And that long run never came, and next thing you know, I found myself in the lead. I don't remember exactly what lap it was, but, dude, I'm going to be honest, I just noticed this too. My best lap of the race was lap 150 coming to the checkered 14-4.
Yeah, if you look
I was about to say I just saved my stuff as long as I could. Just
if you look at every driver behind you, pretty much every driver behind you on that final lap ran their best lap of the race.
Yeah, like I said, I knew if we got the track position and got to the lead there, it was gonna be tough to get by us. I guess it was Hayden and Modesty. I know they had fresher tires there, so I was kind of on the edge of my seat there, but good race between them. Once Hayden got to second there too, it was cool because I know I've raced with him a ton, and I know I don't have to worry about him wrecking me or anything, so that was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always an extra breather there when you know that the guy behind you is not going to run you over out there on the racetrack. But late in this race, obviously a lot of restarts. We're getting a little nervous there with some of those late race restarts, wondering whether or not, Hayden or Joshua Moore, Modesty, Rooster Ron, one of those guys were going to be able to jump up and potentially steal this race lead away from you. And what would have been the game plan if they did take the race lead away for one of these restarts?
No, I honestly wasn't too concerned because I felt like we wasn't gonna get a long green flag run, and the I think we did have a couple 10 lap runs there, and I actually was able to pull away about a second or so. So I felt like as long as we could clear them on the start and beat them for the first 2 or 3 laps, for whatever reason, I was just so good around the bottom, and it seemed like everyone else was. Then it seemed like everyone else was. But yeah, if they would have got by me, I honestly don't know if I would have pitted for tires or if I would have just rode it out to see where it went. That would have been one of them things. We just took it as it came because like I said, once I pitted and I was good on fuel, my plan from there was pretty much stay out and hope for the best.
Absolutely. Well, the best case scenario played out perfectly for you here tonight as you're able to hold them all off and park that 196, that beautiful Scott Bloomquist inspired paint scheme up and into victory lane here this evening at Bristol Motor Speedway. Caleb, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great drive here this evening?
5-star tire specialties, Turbo HP, Paper Cuts, Durham Speed Shop, Majula C Speed Shop, all them guys. Matt, and Ashley, my teammates at CCR Esports, they helped me test a lot, and yeah, as you just said, Bloomer passed away a year ago this past Saturday, and he was a huge customer and friend of mine, and threw this scheme together after he passed away last year, and finally got to run it and able to win with it in Tennessee too, so it just fits real good. No weak links, baby.
Absolutely fits perfectly here this evening as you pull it up into victory lane. Caleb, congratulations on a great run and great drive here this evening as you get to celebrate a big win here tonight with your team here in the second race of our playoffs, and now locking your way in to that next round. And now you get to head to the Daytona Road Course and be a little bit more at ease, obviously not having to worry about pointing your way in or anything else, and you can kind of just go there and have some fun.
Yeah, that was definitely my goal. I appreciate you for the broadcast, Nate, and everybody for the league. A lot of fun. Gives us something to do here on Monday nights.
Absolutely, brother, and that's the main thing right there, having some fun here on our days, and that's exactly what hopefully everyone did here again tonight. Obviously, there's probably a few drivers that aren't super happy with how the yellow flags were thrown here this evening and how much damage they may have gotten. But for yourself, definitely a lot of fun, especially when you get to park it up here in victory lane. Caleb, congrats on the win, and hopefully we'll see you maybe right back up here next Monday night.
Absolutely. I doubt you'll see me up here next week, but we're sure gonna try.
Beauty. We look forward to it, brother.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there to the 196 of Caleb Kleinert. As Kleinert picks up the checkered flag and pulls himself up and into the Bristol Motor Speedway victory lane, man. What a run, what a drive there for him as we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, Matt Hayden. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
I got yours.
Matt, man, solid performance here this evening for you. Obviously, early on, starting up towards from the field, you started there in that third position down into like 1 and 2. You lost the rear end, you went sideways and went right to the back of the pack, and then slowly but surely playing some of the strategy and everything else, you navigate your way up here into that second spot here late in the race. Obviously not enough time to try to go after Caleb Kleiner there. Didn't really find anything to be able to try to take that win away from him here tonight, but you settle in for a solid second place run here tonight, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind here this evening.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to see what up front was like, and then I wanted to see what the back was like or something. But we almost ended the race pretty early, spinning down towards the barrels, and all that drifting, I guess, all that practice paid off because we kept it and everything was green, and then caught a caution. Which I'll be honest, I guess it gave me some time to kind of work. We had some weird pit cycles of going to the back. A group of guys would take tires, go to the back, work their way back up, and then that cycle kept going. And it was just kind of timing that cycle to to taking advantage of the track position and just a little bit of tires to hold the front. Oh, I'm actually surprised. I didn't think we had a shot really to win it, and then going to the white flag lap, um, I don't know. I felt like maybe we could throw a slider or something like that, and it just didn't stick. So, um, lucked out though with the track position on the restart being on the high side. I think Rusty probably had the best shot out of anybody. Caleb seemed like he was fast for most of the race, so I think he was kind of top tier, and I think Rusty was right there. If there was if he had more time, I think, and then he kind of got screwed there with starting the inside. I lucked out on starting the outside. I think inside line checked up, and I was able to pull. So yeah, we'll take it. It's playoffs,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
just take what we can.
Absolutely. You always got to take what you can, and when it comes to you. And here tonight, you get blasted with a couple extra positions late in this race and park it up here on the podium here in position number 2. This one went by really, really quick, even with the, a lot of caution flags and everything else. You guys click these laps off in a quick hurry. Do you think if you had another 50 laps, that you might have the strategy? How was fuel looking there for you? I know you were last down pit road around lap 101. Obviously, I feel like it was probably about 80 laps for a tank of fuel that you guys could get here. Was that kind of the maximum medium, or could you make it a little longer with pit strategies or anything else?
Yeah, we kind of we pit inside the fuel window. I think it showed us it was anywhere from like 90 to 100 laps, which of course I don't think anybody ran more than 20 laps in practice, and we definitely didn't run any more than like 20 or 30 green flag. I don't know, heck, we didn't even run about 15 green flag laps. What am I talking about? So I don't know what the fuel may have gone. I don't think pace would have slowed down much, actually. I don't think we had that much tire fall off. So I think, I don't know, man, it would have been nice to have a long run, but, it's like Martinsville. It's just not in the cards. And I would have loved to hit that last pit cycle and run 100 laps and just see who had the lap pace and who had the average to win it. Which I think me and especially my guys on my team, we're all we can run pace. It's just lucking out with track position. It's just kind of a crapshoot. So yeah, we gambled and at least won with a good finish here tonight. So can't be mad at it.
Absolutely can't be too upset with a solid second place finish here this evening, Matt. Congratulations on another great run here in the Metalhead Truck Series. Another good points day for you here as well. Trying to work your way into the next round of our playoffs. And now we head to the road course at Daytona, man. That's going to be a bit of a wild card. How you feeling going into that race?
Better that I'm not taking an EOL to start a road course this time like we did at Lime Rock. So we were able to start from the back and finish second there. So we run a lot of GT stuff at Daytona Road. I feel comfortable and confident with the track. Not so much in the truck. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. I've never run the Cup Series chicane over there by pit entrance or wherever that is at. I don't even know where it's at, but I know there's an extra chicane somewhere. So that'll be interesting and fun to try that out. But rest of the course, I feel good about, and I think you're going to see, some of your road course guys. Catania's going to be good. I think Rusty's going to be really good there. I think, if you want someone to watch, I think put some money on Rusty there for that race. So hopefully it doesn't jinx him. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out and who the select drivers are going to be. The drivers that will earn their way and their ticket into the next round of our playoffs, and potentially yourself being one of them, especially after another solid run here this evening, making it that much easier on you going into that final race of round 1 of our playoffs. But Matt, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Who'd you like to thank for another great performance here in the Metalheads Truck Series?
Yeah, Metalheads for the series. We're in here for the broadcast. It's always a pleasure getting to come here and talk to you. Misfit Motorsports, the team. We all kind of had a strong run up front. Just some unfortunate things kind of split us up there. And but yeah, man, just appreciate everybody out there for watching.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matt, heck of a run, heck of a drive here this evening, brother. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth next Monday.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Matt Hayden. Hayden comes home in position number 2 as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place driver, the number 51. It is Joshua Moore. Moore comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Josh, man, another good run, another good race here for you this evening, man. Take us back through it. A lot of up and down, a lot of different fuel strategy, tire strategy, a lot of things coming into play here during this short race this evening, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind right now.
Yeah, we got that caution just before the stage. So I thought I think I half spun and saved it and lost a ton of positions, so I wouldn't be in the stage point. So I just flipped the stage, took fuel and tires, and stayed it out as long as I could. And I think it was like lap 100 I pit, somewhere around that. That's about when I lost the lead. I saw Caleb coming through the field, and I thought, hey man, if he can pass me on pretty fresh tires, I should probably get some myself. So I think it was like me, Rusty, and Matt, who were all back there in the back on fresh tires, all trying to make our way through. And it was just a matter of who could be on the outside for the restarts. And I got lucky enough a couple times. I was able to make it through, except on that second to last caution, last caution, got stuck on the inside instead. And that let Matt by, which I was fine with. I'm perfectly fine with the P3. I was not expecting much coming in tonight. Bristol's not one of my best tracks, but I'll definitely take P3 tonight.
Absolutely. A solid run and a solid drive here this evening from Bristol Motor Speedway, man. The last great Coliseum, and you're able to round out our podium here tonight. Josh, who would you like to thank again for another solid run and great performance out there on the racetrack here with the Metalheads Truck Series?
Yeah, first off, got to thank Bruce Muehlberger and Muehlberger Custom Homes. And then I got to thank my teammates, Paul and Joe. They've been a blast to race with us all season. I got to thank my parents for paying the internet bill here. Then lastly, I got to thank you for broadcasting this thing.
Absolutely, brother. It's always my pleasure, Josh. Great run, great drive. Hopefully we'll see you back up here in the broadcast booth maybe next Monday night when we head to the Daytona Road Course for our first elimination race of the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
You, Josh, enjoy the rest of your evening, brother.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place driver here this evening. That number 51 of Joshua Moore, as Moore comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive right there for him. Unfortunately, though, that is going to do it for us here tonight. It was a quick race nonetheless here this evening, man. That was a heck of a fun, man. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of great racing. As K-Dub says, still one lap down. I'm a punching bag tonight, apparently. I feel like there's a lot of drivers there tonight, K-Dub, that were feeling like they were punching bags out there on the racetrack. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of loop-de-loops, and a lot of issues for drivers, but nonetheless, a lot of great fun, a lot of great racing, and we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and enjoying the fun here this evening. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, though. Right now, hit that like button on the stream if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family if you haven't yet, and make sure you guys turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker Gaming. As a great race, great fun, and tomorrow night we get to see our series finale, our final championship race over there with the HCK Beagles Truck Series, where you'll see a lot of these same drivers in attendance, battling, duking it out, and trying to find their way into victory lane there tomorrow night as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun, another great show, some great racing there for our season finale, where we will crown a champion tomorrow evening, and hopefully we'll see you guys all back up here in the grandstands cheering on our truck drivers tomorrow night in the HCK Beagles Truck Series. But thank you all for watching, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all back here in the next one.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beast make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Trapped in wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. That grandstand's buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud